the buyer comes there. And then we are small. How much you can handle? So the global trends are moving fast towards so-called sustainable, biodegradable is a new fad, upcycled and zero carbon footprint production in fashion. So this has been my favorite slide to design schools that I go and speak. In today's day and age, every development has to be adhering to the SDGs, as many SDGs. And it's not that it's declared by USA. The SDGs are for the whole world and for the climate change that is happening, particularly the segment where we belong to, which is handloom and natural dye, both have great role to play. World wants the formula of clothing which can be produced without harming or polluting the planet, and also safeguarding the health of the future generation. Words like such words are buzzing, like recycle, conscious fashion, circular fashion, reuse, reduce. These words are buzzing around our industry. So, first and foremost, to reach there, you have to address the whole value chain that is connected within our segment of business. And last 2 days, yesterday and today, of course, wonderful presentations and a lot of information has been shared where, yarn, starting from yarn, our first link in the value chain. But as a designer, I would say, when anybody talk about this value chain of yarn, handloom, dye source, dye cultivation, dye preparation, authenticity of dye, fixing the dye for washable quality, we forget the designer. And designer is the most important element of this value chain in today's context, because designer knows what world wants. And if designer also treat, like my friend Arundhati said, with respect and dignity to the fellow artisan, we think that they are designers. They are bigger designers than us. They didn't have opportunity to go to the D school. We had the opportunity, but they were born with the creativity. So respect that fraternity, create the infrastructure for them. And today's context, value addition is also a number of value chain techniques are part of the value chain. Like shibori, Namrata has shown beautiful shibori, and somebody else has shown embroidery. So value addition on your rich handloom weaves, which are naturally dyed, there is no parallel to that. The world has to come to us. And as you see, people like us, some of us in this room, have spent years creating the backward integration or trying to bring everything under one umbrella. But that has no doubt created a lot of livelihood. So the satisfaction is that yes, my yarn is spun by women cooperative. Then my tussar is also spun 25 years ago. I found Jagdalpur Kosa Center, and where the tribal women collect the cocoon, which are by default peace silk. The world is today calling ahimsa silk as a peace silk. So they collect lakhs of cocoons and they bring to this Kosa Center at Jagdalpur. I found the wild silk, which I call there, noil, matka, gicha, and tussar. That has made me the designer today. Because from that day till today, I have not stopped fusing these yarn into my production. And people started saying these are signature weaves of Creative Bee or signature textures. But the credit goes to the yarn that I discovered years ago. And now more and more world is getting that yarn, but in a different manner, in a traded manner. It is changing hands and reaching the market at a very high price. But then comes the color, indigo. Indigo is the king of the color in today's context, and in India we have lost, in recent past, sprawling 3-generation, 4-generation old farms for a simple commercial greed that is happening in Andhra Pradesh. The farm that we have been associated and buying indigo in Kadapa region has succumbed to the foreign buyer's requirement, where a foreign buyer has bought entire crop from Canada once. And the farmer became so rich, the third generation farmer. He was young, he was in his 40s. And he said, who's going to do this drudgery of cultivation and extraction and all? He became a real estate a businessman. And that too did not make him happy. He had to go to a jail because he had a dispute with his partner, blah, blah, blah. I find myself responsible because I was the one who had kept Creative Bee with a transparent policy. Even today we are transparent, we ethical, and our weavers of 25 years old, the groups that I created with most underprivileged weavers are with us today. But in that transparency theory of mine, gone little overboard. I had taken the Canadian company to visit the harvesting of indigo, and I was instrumental in losing this farm now because they wouldn't have otherwise done this, visited the farm. Anyways, I wouldn't like to name the farmer or the company, but you all know because it's a small fraternity. Now, briefly, I will show how Creative Bee we have tied almost all our ends of this trend, so-called ethnic, so sustainable, biodegradable trend that world wants. At Creative Bee, it took us 10 years to create a structure where we were not aware that future would want us to show the traceability. It's not because of that reason, but because of our comfort. As an artist or creator, we want to create every element of our product ourselves. So that has led for Creative Bee to create everything, all value chain under a 3.5 acre farm that Creative Bee has, where there was not even one tree. We started growing trees, and then, so that became a dye farm, and today we would differ with most of the dye manufacturers, natural dye manufacturers, where the point comes whether we could use ready-to-use powder or ready-to-use liquid of dye. Of course, for the kind of demand that is growing, that is going to happen and that is required. And the initiative that Mr. Kumran or Amma Herbal or whichever these companies have taken up is the call of the day. But at our farm, what we do is we treat preparation of dyes as if you are preparing food for 10 people at home, but then you are preparing also 1,000 people's food for your functions, and you still make your masalas, you still make your, so right in the morning, if you visit the farm, you will find village women. Apart from the community, there is a village nearby, so non-skilled and semi-skilled women comes from the village, would be pounding jaggery, the palm jaggery, which comes in bigger chunks, to pounding with hand, because at Creative Bee we have a zero electricity use policy. Now all these policies are so idealistic, and they were made 20 years ago. But today, world is using them as USP, the minimal carbon footprint, they call it. We had kept the policy so that we can give more employment. Instead of getting a pulverizing machine, we have been doing this, So this is what I'm trying to say, that indigo is anyway a timeless trend. Quickly moving on to fashion for development. The fashion in hand woven and natural dye, as Prasad very rightly said, has to be premium. It is not a small, ordinary, masonry, any work, no work is ordinary, but the creation of any product such as hand kalamkari, which is one of the value chain under Creative Bee. Creative Bee has block printing, hand kalamkari, shibori, batik, and natural dyed weaves under Creative Bee umbrella. So this is the fashion, Lakme fashion show. Here you can see that it's not only traditional, it is also modern, and this is how kalamkari is done, which is so laborious. But who says that it cannot be modern and marketable? This was my last show in Hamburg, where 20 European models walked the ramp. It was a solo show, a forum of sustainable 3 designers, sustainable design, and you can see the ikat. Now ikat has succumbed to power loom so much in my own state, and also to a lot of carcinogenic dyes. So it's a big fight that bunch of people like us doing with our government, that why did they accept the power loom status and why they are not doing anything to eliminate the naphthol dyes. And ikat loom, of course, everyone know that ikat is also not an easy process compared to any other handmade and hand-woven techniques like Jamdani of Bengal that was shown. And ikat can be as fashionable. Ikat is a trend in 25 years. I have seen that thrice the trend has come and gone. Now, big Uzbek designs are being copied, but unfortunately, they are also copied in digital and they are also copied on power loom. So, ikat itself is a trend. Then Creative Bee is block printing, and we would quickly run through the facility, but more than that, my message is that large companies like Jürgen Lehel from Japan, which has 160 stores, is our client for 13 years, and the orders are not small. Round the year, we keep getting 500, 600 meters, 1,000 meters, 500 pieces of stoles, and in completely hand-processed manner, we have been able to produce. The design come from them. They are a very big design company. And everything at farm is hand-processed. So let that be silk or tussar or any other fiber, natural fiber, it goes through water minimum 5 times. So in this hall, there are friends and ardent Creative Bee product admirers who have used the products, including Dominic Carden yesterday was wearing. The piece which is lasts forever because your dyes are good and your weaves are good. Then what else you want? And you selling it as a premium product. And who says block printing has to be like only traditional? Look at that. That's a Fostet print, very traditional, used by various Indian block printers, including Ajrak and Kalamkari. But those are my designs, inspired from barbed wire fence. It's an original idea, and it is printed on a textured tussar. So these are customized blocks. A buyer come who's a designer, who has a big company anywhere in the world. Then we have block chiseling, including at Creative Bee. We have everything. It took us more than 10 years to do this facility, that you can do everything that you want. And see, these are the block printed textiles, organic cotton, and Gaia Conception is a brand from USA for past many years. Once a client is a client forever. These are those special wild silk weaves that I have been creating, and then they have been so popular internationally and within the country in form of saris, stoles, garments. I have given a lot of strength to this weave by using noil and filature silk and other silks, so that you can cut them up and sew them as garments as well. This is the Japanese Jürgen Lehel brand. Such intricate designs come for block making, and the blocks are carved to the finest. There is a village called Padana in Andhra Pradesh, known for block carving, and the best block carvers are there. These block carvers have learned to charge higher fees because they know the value of their art, and this is what everyone should do, all the weavers. When we show the video of a dying house where very minimal infrastructure, so hot and humid, my heart really sinks, where all other work environment can improve. Why not our handloom sector work environment? Why cannot it improve? This is again the Hamburg show. I had shown 4 techniques. So even at Creative Bee, after doing our UN project with Southeast Asian countries, we have 10 different techniques of clamp dye and shibori, and so they are being done in natural dye and multiple colors. This is a big clamp dye piece of stole. And then again batik. Along with Mr. Edric Ong, some years ago, a special project was given to husband Kesh Rao, and the Indonesian team of batik artists and from Malaysia, they came to Creative Bee Farm, and so we had to make some metal blocks. Now COVID gave us the opportunity and the time to experiment for our own products, and so we have done those. These are the, moving on to the solid colors. Everything is possible, but as Rashmi ji is doing and as Jesus is doing, that scale is what everybody should do, and not Creative B scale. Creative B scale is still very small. These are the solid colors used for European brand Cleats Kimono, and they have a Save the Wildlife logos as a mission, and they market all over the world. So this is how madder and indigo, thickly woven 2x40s, 2x20s fabrics are dyed at the farm. At farm, we don't have any jigger or any equipment machinery. And this is yet another very big brand from US, where garments are stitched in organic cotton in white in Tirupur in Tamil Nadu, and they are sent to Creative Dye Farm for dyeing like 500 shirts or 1,000 pants, and this is all done manually, employing a lot of labor. And the last slide, almost last slide, where I cannot say that beautiful saris within traditional concept can be made. These are all contemporary look saris that a lot of ardent Creative Bee fan love to buy. The first one is Oppada, where senior weavers, when their eyesight become poor, they have been with us for 25 years. So if they have cataract operation done, we don't give them the intricate design, and they would just weave plain saris with jari border, and then we would print or dye. And then this is a shibori sari there, and yes, five more minutes. Yeah, and yeah, so I have almost completed my presentation, and that fashion is for development. The fashion can be Indian fashion, Indian weaves and techniques can be for world. It's only the little bit of infrastructure that you have to build around your artisan or within your own enterprise. This slide I'm showing because Creative Bee does have a knowledge department which is bigger than the fashion department. And 2016, we were appointed as a UN consultant, and since then we have done number of training projects across the globe, in Africa, Southeast Asia, some places, and also in India. We have done this large project where 2,000 women were empowered with retail training. And but I'm showing this particularly, I take your permission to show this slide, that you can see the government logo there. But very little that government support had come. My request for 7 villages that I have done this project for 2 years, my request was to the government to give these women looms and dyeing facility and a small building, either rent or their own. But it was not heard. And in spite of me being on the advisory committees with Ministry of Textiles for so many years in various committees, but still my reach is also short. So anyone going to knocking the door to the government, I don't know how soon things can happen. So only one village got the facility, thanks to the collector, the bureaucrat, who had the power and the guts to shift a rural development budget to handloom. And they have given this 250 women at Koelgudam village, which is 2 hours away from Hyderabad, where finest cottons are woven. My request to all of you here, that you can work with these women. I have formed them into a collective. They have their GST number, they have their email, they are trained to do business. Now Fab India has been linked, couple of other design institutes, design companies have been linked, and they are doing ESO-free, beautiful ikat, also natural dye ikat, but natural dye ikat, they have to come to Creative Bee Dye Farm to do the dyeing. So for any one of us here, the sky is the limit, and we can't afford to lose even a day. Thank you very much for being patient just before lunch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Beena Rao. Now we will have a panel discussion on the topic of fashion for development. The moderator will be Mr. Prasad Bidappa, and we'll have panelists Shakti Vel, Ms. Beena Rao, Mr. Naushad Ali, and Ramesh Menon. A small request, ladies and gentlemen, we've already overshot our time this morning, and we'll have this panel discussion for about 25 minutes. I request you all to hold your questions to the end of the day, when we will have an open Q&A session for all the speakers who have been speaking over the past 2 days. So please, let's have the panel discussion here, but kindly keep your questions for the session that will come at the end of the day. We will not have maybe just a couple of questions, just so that we also do not want to hold people beyond the lunchtime. That's why.
And welcome to our panel, Shaktivel, Beena Rao, Naushad Ali, and Ramesh Menon. So, you heard me earlier speaking about why can't we elevate Indian craft and heritage textiles to a super luxury sector? Why just ordinary luxury? I mean, you look at it, this is the art of the hand. Only the Japanese seem to appreciate it. What happened to the rest of the world? The Japanese call their craftsmen national treasures. They bestow upon them wealth and housing and cars, and they give them everything they need to lead a good life. What's wrong with us? 90% of it disappears into somebody's pockets, and 10% of it stays with us. Shakti, tell us, what is your opinion on the whole thing, on this terrible sort of conundrum that we are in, where our textiles, our heritage, crafts are considered to be quite, like it's an okay thing.
Yeah, I think somewhere we have lost sense of what is fashion. We have lost sense of probably what is design also. And through the process, I heard one person in the previous panel discussion talking about dignity. I think somewhere as public, we don't realize to dignifiedly address people as an in general, irrespective of what profession one does, what practice one has. The human dignity is nothing less. I think this is where Khadi became the highest fashion in that sense, because Gandhi talked about dignity of labor. And no one talked about dignity of labor. He made everyone clothed in that simple, coarse, handspun fabric. It became a fashion. I think that's the first ever fashion, this thing in India, a kind of role. But after that, I think we have lost that kind of a communication, that kind of a narrative. Khadi, for that matter, has lost over time its purpose and meaning. So are our handlooms. I think we are lacking not people, not designers, not artists or craftsperson, whatever you would like to call them. We have lost, we are unable to reinvent new narratives. We are unable to bring a new story to people, a new meaning so that motivates people to work. We talk about slow fashion, we talk about cultural fashion, we talk about many such things, but we don't talk about responsible fashion. We call it runway, maybe we need walkways and sideways and jumpways. We are unable to literally think beyond certain set ideas. I think there needs to be some kind of, literally some kind of Dadaism or something that really can deconstruct what is happening today. There should be new micro stories. What I missed seeing in general is like micro stories of people, like what yesterday Swaminathan presented in terms of cotton, and I miss stories, small stories like that, which like the Edric's one, which I think Edric has been working with that one particular village for how many years, and it is still afresh. And he is able to bring newer stories to things. But we lack something that is consistently being shown with a newer perspective and newer stories. I think it's designers' responsibility to bring in that new stories and narratives that can probably work on that.
Shakti, sometimes I wonder whether it's a generational fault. Have we failed the young generation in being able to pass the message on? Bina, at the end of the day, I go to NIFT, I go to Pearl, I'm lecturing in these colleges, and then we're talking about the graduation program when each student has to design 5 to 6 garments for the program, and that's the last fashion show they do before they graduate. And then I say to them, how many of y'all are working with Indian handmade textiles? And like 3 hands will go up. Then what are the rest of y'all doing? Oh, we're going to the shop and we're buying imported fabrics. I mean, hello. We're actually giving China so much of business that I think India has become the biggest customer. So if someone wants to make a little black dress, they won't think of making a little black dress out of a Banarasi weave or something that's a tussar silk or something like that and dyeing it black. They want to go and buy black polyester. But that is the fault also of the Zaras and the H&Ms, which have conditioned the next generation to a level that seems to be beyond saving, like Shakti seems to be very concerned about. But tell me, Beena, why are we not able to tell young students that if you're making a graduation collection, part of it should compulsorily be made out of Indian handmade textiles? One quick elucidation to those of you who wouldn't know, I'm sure most of you all do know that. Khadi is only called khadi when the yarn is spun on a charkha and that thread is used to weave on a handloom, khadi. So that is the title of khadi. But all the great saris of India are not made with hand-spun thread. It's made with power-loomed thread so that it's finer and you can get, but that is the nature of the game. We call